Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back in Atlanta, Week 11, Cardinals Falcons. Ken Wisenhunt returning home, born in Atlanta, attended Georgia Tech, and then spent 4 years with the Atlanta Falcons. Mike Smith, all-time winningest head coach in Falcons history. His team started the season 8-0 before the loss to New Orleans last Sunday. A look at former Falcon Jay Feely, who will get things started. Cardinals won the toss and elected to defer. So the Falcons will get the ball first as Jacquizz Rodgers takes it out for Atlanta. Cutting to the outside. Out to the 28-yard line. Justin Bethel finally brought him down. So Matt Ryan leads the 6th-ranked Falcons offense onto the field.
And you can see the season that Matt Ryan has had, again, being mentioned as an MVP candidate, and really didn't do anything to diminish that last week versus the New Orleans Saints. He took his team down, put them in a position to win that game.
Falcons start with 3 wide receivers. Julio Jones is active today and on the field. From the 27 on first down, it's Ryan. Intended for White, picked off by Rashad Johnson. It deflected away from Roddy White, and Johnson comes up with his 2nd career interception, his 1st this season.
Attention to detail. Roddy White has just got to make this catch on the first try. He's going to come across. It's going to be a shallow in route here. The ball is thrown on time, a little bit behind, but he's got to make that catch. Once that ball goes up into the air, the way that defenses pursue to the ball, you're giving somebody an opportunity to create a turnover. Rashad Johnson, right on the spot there.
Deflected off White. William Gay got a piece of it. And then it was Johnson with the interception. So John Skelton and the Arizona Cardinals offense on 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. A handoff to LaRod Stevens-Howling. And he gained 7. Down to the Falcons 3.
That's impressive by Arizona right there. And when you get into the red zone, we talk a lot about red zone efficiency, scoring touchdowns and not kicking field goals. One of the things that you have to be able to do as an offense is run the football. That's a great run play on first down right there.
An offense that has struggled. They have not scored more than 17 points during their 5-game losing streak.
Set the tempo early with the offensive line coming off the ball with the run.
Second and goal from the 3-yard line. It is Stevens-Howling, and he is in for a Cardinals touchdown.
Very impressive by Arizona. Watch LaRod Stevens-Howling. All the gaps are controlled there. You bounce outside, run through Asante Samuel. That's physical running. I can't tell you what a confidence builder it is to be able to run the ball in the red zone effectively like they did on those 2 plays.
So the Cardinals capitalize on the early Falcons turnover. Feely the extra point. Cardinals have their first lead in their last 4 games, set up by this. Rashad Johnson with the pick, Stevens-Howling the touchdown.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Well, the Arizona Cardinals take an early lead. They won the toss, deferred, and then Rashad Johnson with an interception on the Falcons' first play from scrimmage. First time in Ryan's career he has ever been picked off on his first pass in a game. So Arizona with the lead. Jacquizz Rodgers back deep for the Falcons. takes a knee. Falcons will start from the 20. So another opportunity for Matt Ryan of the Falcons offense. In 34 career regular season games in this dome, Ryan has lost 4 times.
Well, he's going to have to make a play here to get this crowd back in the game. I mean, it is silent in the dome right now. It's unbelievable. Wow. Now, is it up to the Falcons offense to generate a play to get the crowd back into it? I think when you have a home field advantage, it's the crowd's responsibility to get your guys into it by being loud. I am blown away by how quiet it is in here right now.
Remember last week, the Falcons quieted dome in New Orleans early when Breeze was intercepted on his first pass.
Gold Oregon! Gold Oregon! Gold Oregon! Here it comes.
On first down, this is Michael Turner. Darnell Duncan, first Cardinal in on the tackle, gain of just 1 for Turner.
Well, I think this group is in for a pretty tough challenge this afternoon. A lot of people don't know a lot about the Arizona defense, but they're a pretty good group, and they're going to have their hands full up front. And again, we'll see the evolution of this. A lot of talk about Michael Turner and reduced carries. Julio Jones is in the lineup today. That was a question mark all week long, and that's huge for the Falcons when you talk about big plays.
An explosive offense, empty backfield. On second down, Ryan's pass could not be handled by Turner. The Cardinals defense that does not get a lot of credit. They are without starters today, but they've done a very good job this season.
Yeah, Calais Campbell is not in the lineup today. A very good player, Pro Bowl type season. Darnell Dockett, you better block him. Darrell Washington, the linebacker, a lot of people are talking about him as one of the best defensive players in the NFL. And Adrian Wilson, you better know where he is on every snap.
No Calais Campbell, no O'Brien Schofield out for the season.
Getting aggressive right here with blitz.
And Ryan is nearly picked off again. Cardinals brought the pressure, and Sam Acho nearly had the Cardinals' second pick in the first 2 minutes.
I'm really surprised this didn't get picked up now. I mean, they showed it so early. Matt Ryan went and audibled off, looked right in the middle. You got 2 linebackers coming scot-free right there, James Sanders.
And when you play against Arizona, you know that. I mean, they told us this. We have got to be very good with our A-gap protection. Those are the 2 gaps between the guard and center, and Arizona likes to bring a lot of blitzes in that spot.
Matt Bosher waiting back at his 5-yard line. Patrick Peterson back in for the Cardinals. 4 touchdowns on punt returns last year, none so far this season. Peterson is across midfield. There is a flag. Penalty marker back at the 41-yard line.
And this is such a bad penalty. I think we've got an illegal block in the back, and he was out of position. It was going to have no impact on the return. Let that guy go. Let Patrick Peterson do whatever he can on his own. You put yourself in a bad spot, and then you add to that by making a bad decision.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 56. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Arizona keeps the ball. First down.
That's on Reggie Walker, the Cardinals special teams captain. Cardinals brought the pressure. They have the early lead in Atlanta.
Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
Arizona Cardinals on the road, out to an early 7-0 lead. They start this drive from their own 30-yard line following the penalty on the return. Skelton out of the shotgun, hands it off, and Stevens Howling found a big hole. He's across midfield and finally shoved out of bounds at the Falcons' 30-yard line. A 40-yard run, longest of Stephen Howling's career.
This is unbelievable how Arizona is running the football. This is, going to come in here and bounce out right into this area, and there's nobody there. Keem Dent gets caught. Croy Bierman is blocked up. And then Thomas Deku, I mean, as the safety is, you're there for a reason. You're to make everything safe, right? You're the last line of defense. You got to have a better angle and better effort on your tackle.
Longest run of the season for the Cardinals. This is William Powell, and he is thrown for a loss by Keem Dent. Well, Tony talked about this Cardinals offensive line with 2 rookie tackles, Darryl.
Yeah, and let's congratulate them right now. They're off to a good start here. It's early in this game, obviously, but very effective running the football. The Rod Stevens Howling is doing a nice job. Larry Fitzgerald, obviously, when you play the Arizona Cardinals, you have to stop him. So I really feel it's up to Andre Roberts, Early Doucette, Michael Floyd, one of these other receivers to step up and make some plays.
Stevens Howling back in, 2nd down and 11. Skelton's first pass is caught by the rookie out of Notre Dame, Michael Floyd, and he is tackled by Robert McLean after a gain of just 1.
And here's the Atlanta Falcons defense, John Abraham. Will he be able to take advantage of these 2 rookie tackles? But right now, this front, my concern is not really what are you going to do against the pass rush. What are you going to do against this running game? It appears that Arizona is committed to running the football, and I know they want to take a look at attacking Dante Robinson and Asante Samuel, 2 very aggressive corners on the outside.
Keep in mind, Falcons released starting defensive end Ray Edwards earlier this week. 3rd down and 10. Skelton looking, now he throws out of bounds, intended for Early Doucette. So the Cardinals send out Jay Feely and the field goal unit.
Good job by that Falcons defense. Kind of dig it in your heels. You're off to an awful start. I mean, this team is completely out of sync, and you wonder if what happened last week is still in the back of their minds right now. They've got to get that out and come out here and play. It is so difficult to win a game in the NFL on a Sunday afternoon.
48-yard attempt from the right hash. Feely's kick is just inside the right upright. Big run by LaRod. Stevens Howling setting up Jay Feely. Now 10-0 Arizona.
Is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. By the Samsung Galaxy S3, the next big thing is here. And by PlayStation Vita Call of Duty Bundle, $199 on Black Friday and Saturday.
The Arizona Cardinals coming off their bye lead, 10-0. There is LaRod Stevens Howling. Real long 40-yard run setting up field goal. Cardinals have run 6 plays on offense. They've scored 10 points.
Just a complete reversal from what happened to Atlanta last week when they jumped out 10-0 against New Orleans. We'll see if they can do that, but well done by the Arizona Cardinals coming into this stadium and getting the type of start that they did.
Feely kicking off for the 3rd time in the first 4 minutes. Rodgers up the middle with a burst. Out across the 20, the 21-yard line. So another opportunity for Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense.
Nothing to cheer about right there.
Not at all. Not at all. One thing they have to do is they got to start a rhythm. You know, down here on the field, you know, usually you can go and feel a team's rhythm on offense. Feeling nothing with Atlanta right now. They got to go and establish the run a little bit, get back to what they want to do. Get a rhythm.
Ryan has started the game 0 for 3. Looking to throw on 1st down. Moving to his left. Finally gets rid of it and hits his tight end, Tony Gonzalez, for a Falcons 1st down.
They're really starting to develop some chemistry. You know, a lot of people will talk about trust, but also chemistry. You know, watch Matt Ryan here. You've got Adrian Wilson coming on the blitz. It's picked up, kind of hangs in that pocket, now breaks out, eyes down the field. And there is a veteran, when he sees his quarterback in trouble, you know, move back to him, get into his line of sight.
Gain of 12. From the 33. Quick out to Julio Jones. And immediately by William Gay. 8 yards for Jones. Time for a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, making his first NFL start, Philly rookie Nick Foles had a tip pass intercepted on the opening drive. Redskin rookie RG3 hooked up with Darryl Young 2 plays later. Just like that, Skins are up 7-0 in the battle of rookie QBs. Timmy Moose and Deuce.
Thanks very much, Kurt.
25.
Julio Jones to the sidelines following his 8-yard gain.
Let's go.
2nd down and 2.
Arthur. Green Arthur. Green Arthur. Ready to go.
Here's Michael Turner. play named after their owner, Arthur Blank.
I'll tell you what, this defense is swarming, Darryl. You talk about aggressiveness and running to the ball. Hey, there's nothing there on the line of scrimmage. They're bringing pressure with an extra guy on the pass, and in the run, everybody's eyes are in the backfield and identifying the run.
Yeah, but here's something we got to keep our eye on today, Tony. This has been the Achilles heel for Atlanta all season long, is when they get into the third and short situation. Now last week it cost them a game. There's a different approach. They've talked about play calling and coaching. You can see right here, opened up a little bit more, probably a little bit more aggressive with play calling.
Ryan on 3rd and 2. Pass was deflected. And then Rodgers comes up with it after the deflection by David Carter.
Well, different approach, but same result. You go to a more open formation, shotgun. You're waiting for Roddy White to get across the field, but the play gets knocked down. David Carter goes up, watching those eyes of the quarterback. If you can't get to him, elevate, get in that throwing lane.
David Carter starting for the injured Calais Campbell. So the Falcons not able to convert on 3rd and short. Bosher punting from his own 30. Good kick. Peterson lets it go. And it will be down inside the 5-yard line by Jason Stelling. Finally, some cheers for the Falcons. What a start for the Arizona Cardinals. And a late flag has been thrown following the Bosher punt.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 55. Half the distance to the goal, Arizona keeps the ball. First down, timeout.
Another penalty on special teams. Arizona Cardinals lead the Atlanta Falcons 10-0. Cardinals took advantage of an early Falcons turnover and then added a field goal. Start this drive from their own 3-yard line. Two tight ends set. Skelton hands it off to Stevens. Howling fights his way out of the end zone and is down at the 2.
Special teams has created a great opportunity for this Falcons defense, and they almost cash in by getting at safety here. The Rod Stevens Howling has to know exactly where he is on the field. These jump cuts work well at certain points of the field, but inside the 2-yard line, not the best choice. Straight ahead, shoulders down, push the pile. Don't get cute down here.
Second down and 11. Again, it's Stevens Howling.
Jonathan Babineau does a great job. Watch him right here. Goes, gets his hands inside. Peeks, sees Howling. Makes a nice cut to the outside. Throws his body, wraps it up. Gets his legs to stop him from going and getting any more hidden yardage. That's a great play by a defensive tackle right there.
Third down and 11. Cardinals empty the backfield. On the shotgun. Skelton to the outside, incomplete. He was looking for Andre Roberts. Cardinals go 3 and out.
Arizona coming out playing very, very conservative right now. You can tell they're trying to protect those rookie tackles on the outside, but at some point they're going to have to just let them play. They cannot expect the game to continue to move in the direction it is. Atlanta is helping them out tremendously right now, but eventually they're going to have to start making some plays on their own.
Yeah, John Skelton's got to go and be a little bit more patient in the pocket and have some faith in those guys up front to find his receiver.
Let him go.
James Astino punting from his end zone.
That's a heck of a kick from that position on the field.
Dominique Franks. 60-yard punt by Zastino. Setting up terrific field position for the Falcons offense. Good news for the Falcons. Julio Jones back out on the field.
Well, we got a little bit concerned on that last catch for Julio Jones. Kind of came up a little bit slow, and he was questionable all week long. He's such an important part to this offense, having that big play threat opposite Roddy White, and then that opens everything up in the middle of the field for Tony Gonzalez.
Falcons trailing by 10. White in motion. Start from their own 48. Michael Turner. Harris led in the tackle.
Looks like Michael Turner's a little hesitant at hitting the hole there, Darryl, now.
Well, I just think it's hard for him. You know, here's a guy who gets better from first quarter to fourth quarter, gets better from September through January. He can't get into a rhythm as this offense is evolving to a big play offense. His reps are down, and he's finding it very, very difficult to get into any type of rhythm running the football.
15 carries, only 13 yards for Turner last week against the Saints.
Here comes that pressure up the middle again.
Ryan on 2nd and 8. Wrapped up. Down he goes. Back at the 45-yard line. Ronald Talley with his first sack of the season.
Well, this is just really good coverage by the Arizona secondary. The blitz is picked up. He's going to come number 2 from the right side behind Sam Acho. There's 96 right there. Just keeps working, pushing that back. Justin Blaylock gets there late, but there was nowhere for Matt Ryan to go. They've got everybody locked down.
We've talked about all the sacks the Cardinals have allowed offensively, but defensively, they are 4th in the league. Here's Ryan on 3rd and 13. Steps up, fires complete for a first down to Roddy White. White to the Arizona 28, a 27-yard catch and run.
Just a nice throw catch right there by Matt Ryan, and Roddy White coming across the field at that second level. Comes right into the line of sight of Matt Ryan. Gives him the opportunity to run after the catch. William Gay punches it out right at the end, but a little too late, just goes out of bounds.
And we talked about the Falcons, much more success on 3rd and long than 3rd and short. They convert on 3rd and 13. And now Ryan looking for White in the end zone, but he was out of bounds. Made the catch, but did not get 2 feet down in bounds. William Gay on the coverage.
This is an area where Matt Ryan has really improved the deeper throw. Roddy White could help him out by not getting pushed to the sideline as far and just drifts and carries him out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, Ray Horton for the Cardinals defensive coordinator, he's really taking some chances there now. Bringing pressure, leaving those corners man-to-man on the outside, I'll tell you. He is not sitting back, he's going after this.
Larry Douglas in for Roddy White. Rodgers the lone back, 2nd and 10. Ryan stands in the pocket, and the pass deflected and then picked off. It was deflected by Dockett, intercepted by William Gay, his 2nd of the season. And for the Arizona Cardinals, their 2nd interception here in the first quarter.
Just an aggressive play on the ball by William Gay. Watch him right here. When this ball is deflected, watch him jump. Larry Douglas gets him on the stutter. It's tipped. Harry's kind of standing there, caught flat-footed. William Gay was already breaking on the ball.
Darnell Dockett does a nice job right over the middle timing. He knows he can't get much of a pass rush. He sees Matt Ryan wind up, jumps up, tips that ball, gives his secondary an opportunity to go and pick it off, and that's exactly what happened with William Gay.
So the Falcons, who committed only 8 turnovers over their first 9 games, turn the ball over twice here in the first quarter at home as Skelton throws, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Michael Floyd.
And here's a perfect opportunity for the Arizona Cardinals to become a little bit more aggressive in what they're doing offensively. I would say right now your defense is playing well enough for you to not really come out and just hand the ball off and try and kill time here on the clock. Ken Wisenhunt and his group need to start pressing this a little bit.
2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. Skelton from the shotgun, hands it off up the middle. Stevens Howling gains 7 out to the 32. Time for another game break. We check in with Kurt.
Winners of 4 of their last 5. The Bucs try to keep things rolling today at Carolina. Good start. Josh Freeman, Nate Bryant, touchdown. They've added a field goal since. 10-0 Bucs with the lead on the road at the Panthers in the first quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
And the Buccaneers, Kurt, keeping an eye on The Falcons and the Cardinals. Tampa Bay in second place, 3 games behind Atlanta in the NFC South. Third down and 5. Skelton over the middle. That pass intended for Larry Fitzgerald. Asante Samuel shaken up on the play.
But when you have Larry Fitzgerald on the backside all by himself, if you're going to go that way, keep your eyes on him. You know, find him right there, get that ball. It's a little bit late. It allows Asante Samuel the opportunity to get in and make a play on the ball.
Gastineau punting for the second time. His last punt from the end zone, 60 yards. Franks will let it bounce. Makes a Cardinals roll.
And not let that punt hit the ground. You lose so much field position.
And it'll be down at the 7-yard line. A 62-yard punt for Gastineau. Well, the Arizona Cardinals started their season with 4 consecutive victories over Seattle, New England, Philadelphia, and Miami. But beginning with a Thursday night game in St. Louis, they have now lost 5 in a row. Overtime loss to the Bills. They've averaged only 11 points per game over the last 5, but have scored 10 in the first quarter today.
Well, taking advantage of miscues by the Atlanta Falcons, but they can't continue to rely on those mistakes that happen. Ken Wisenhunt and his group. The game has started the way you would hoped it would, but now you got to take advantage of that and start to become a little bit more aggressive. They will here on defense. Ray Horton loves the blitz.
From the 7-yard line, Ryan hands it off to Turner. Turner gains 4. Out to the 11. Patrick Peterson made the tackle. So the Falcons pinned deep in their own territory. How about the Cardinals punt? Dave Gastineau with a 60 and a 62-yard punt and roll here in this first quarter.
One of the Cardinal sins as a punt returner is allowing that ball to hit the ground, and I don't know if Dominique Franks was just too far from it to get up and make a play with the fair catch, but got a lot of roll out of that one. That's forced this offense to start backed up.
Or a Falcons sin against the Cardinals. Second down and 6. Snelling in the backfield. Ryan looking to throw. Pass is high. Matt Ryan has already been picked off twice here in the first quarter. Starting the game just 4 for 10. Cardinals with a short field on their first drive. Needed to go only 10 yards to score a touchdown. The big play, the 40-yard run on the Arizona on their second possession by Stevens Howling led to a field goal. Ryan on 3rd and 6. Hit as he throws, and it's picked off. The 3rd interception, Kerry Rhodes with the Arizona pick, his 2nd of the season. So Ryan has been intercepted 3 times in the first quarter.
Oh, Tony, they've definitely seen something on film because they're pushing the pocket right into Matt Ryan's face, and he has to change the way he's playing right now. He either has to just take that sack or throw the ball away, but he's putting it in the field of play, and it's giving them opportunities for turnovers.
I'll tell you what, the secondary is breaking on the ball. Kerry Rhodes, I mean, he knew that ball was going to be there. His break was unbelievable. That's why he got the pick. That secondary's, all their eyes are in the backfield on Matt Ryan, and they are just making unbelievable breaks on the ball.
So another short field for the Cardinals from the Falcons' 18-yard line. Off the play fake, Skelton throws, end zone, looking for Fitzgerald.
He was wide open.
You just can't miss these opportunities. You're an offense that's struggling to score points. Your defense is playing unbelievable. Watch Larry Fitzgerald here. He's going to turn around Robert McClain. Little post corner route right there. You have got to make that throw for the touchdown. Larry Fitzgerald, I mean, look how the route, he gave himself such a great angle to throw to him.
Yeah, it looked like John Skelton was trying to place that ball in a special spot. He just needs to get back there and throw it.
Missed opportunity for the Cardinals. Now 2nd and 10. Stevens Howling. William Moore the tackle. Gain of 4.
Again, they're just starting to build some confidence here, Tony, with this run game.
Yeah, I like the
come
run
out with
game.
you're aggressive on first down. You take that shot in the end zone. We wanted them to be more aggressive. They make the aggressive play call, but then to be able to come back on second down and be effective in the run game. This offensive line has started the game well.
Yeah, you give them a little bit of confidence. You got 2 rookie tackles out there. Let them come off the ball a little bit.
4th down and 6. Off the fake to Powell. This is Stevens howling. And he is finally ruled down. He was ruled down at the 9-yard line. Bierman thought he had him at the 12. So Stevens howling stopped about a yard shy of the marker.
I don't see him down right there. That's a heck of an athletic move by the Rod Stevens howling.
His knee never hit. The only thing that could have been down would be his left elbow.
Babineau knocked the ball loose, but he was ruled down at the 9-yard line, so the Cardinals send out Dave Feely, hit from 48 earlier. It's a 27-yard attempt. Feely 2 for 2. Cardinals extend their lead to 13-0 following the Kerry Rhodes interception, 3rd pick of the first quarter for the Cardinals. Well, this December, the UFC returns to Fox. Lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Nate Diaz, highlighting a full night of 4 epic bouts. Coverage of UFC on Fox 5 begins Saturday, December 8th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox.
Yeah, I don't know if they made the right choice. I would have challenged this play, Darryl.
Yeah, he definitely stayed up there. That's great. Is he down before that ball comes out?
So you have to be right twice,
hit
right?
by Jonathan Babineau. Well, it's got to be fumble. There's your clear recovery. That's the other aspect of it. And they've got, well, do they have clear recovery? Now we got 2 guys fighting for the ball. Yep, you've got clear recovery by William Moore.
But I think the official thought his knee hit, but his knee did not hit at all.
So a short field for the Cardinals, and they settle for 3. Matt Ryan, who started last week's game in New Orleans, 9 for 9. For the first quarter, he would like to forget. Intercepted 3 times by the Arizona Cardinals, tying his career high, not for a quarter, but for a game. He has never been picked off more than 3 times in a game in his NFL career.
Well, there's a little bit to blame to go everywhere. On the first one, Roddy White bobbles that one. Shaw Johnson able to get it. And on that one, Darnell Dockett gets a deflected pass. William Gay comes in. But this one, that one's all on Roddy White. The one to Kerry Rhodes, he's got pressure in his face. Either take the sack or get that ball thrown away earlier. But the Arizona Cardinals, now this is their identity. Ray Horton, the defensive coordinator, is a pressure guy. He comes from the Pittsburgh background. They're going to blitz you. That's what this defense is about. And right now they are coming up the middle. They're getting the pressure into Matt Ryan's face, and he's not making great decisions right now.
1 minute remaining, first quarter. On 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Ryan underneath. Jaquiz Rogers for a gain of 5. That's Ryan Lindley, the Cardinals backup quarterback.
I'm not seeing anything from an injury standpoint to John Skelton. And maybe, with the opportunity to get Larry Fitzgerald on that touchdown and not being able to connect, maybe they're going to make a switch.
Penalty flag as Rogers gains a yard. Kevin Cobb inactive today. The other Arizona quarterback who started 5 games earlier this season before suffering injuries in his last start. Bill Vinovich sorting things out.
Illegal motion. Offense number 83. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Barry Douglas. There's Kevin Cobb. Record of 3-2 in his 5 starts, the former Philadelphia Eagle. Skelton started week 1, injured his ankle, so Cobb came in, started the next 5 before suffering attached ribs and a shoulder injury. On 2nd and 10, this is Rodgers. Quiz Rodgers out to the 24-yard line as time winds down. First quarter comes to an end here in Atlanta. 3 Arizona Cardinal interceptions. Cardinals looking to end a 5-game losing streak, lead the Atlanta Falcons by the score of 13-0. We start the second quarter in Atlanta. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Cardinals lead the 8-1 Falcons 13-0. Third down and 6 for Atlanta. They must get to the 30 for a first down. And Roddy White is able to pick up the first. Tackled by Patrick Peterson, but up before White gains 9 yards.
I'm just blown away how efficient Atlanta can be in third and longer situations and then struggle so mightily in these third and short situations.
Ryan just 5 of 12 with 3 picks. Again, we see Rodgers, not Turner, in the backfield on first down. Turner on the sidelines, and Rodgers gains 2 as we head to Los Angeles. And Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Hey, talk about Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers get on the board with a touchdown, hooking up with Jermichael Finley, 20-yard score against Detroit. Packers lead at 7-3. That's only Finley's 2nd touchdown this year. Ken Wilson goes.
Surprised at that, too. I mean, I know there's a lot of options there for Aaron Rodgers, but a couple of years ago, I was expecting Jermichael Finley to be one of the really good tight ends in the NFL, and that production just hasn't been there a season and a half.
Ryan out of the shotgun, 2nd down and 8, looking for Julio Jones. Peterson on the coverage, no flags.
I'm really surprised that this offensive line is struggling with the pickup of the blitz.
Well, let's check out in this coverage, though. This is going to be a fun matchup to watch, Tony. You got Julio Jones against Patrick Peterson, 2 very, very talented young players in the NFL. I just don't know if Julio's 100%. I mean, he carried that injury from last week against New Orleans. We'll keep our eyes on him.
Third down and 8. Falcons must get to the 43 as Ryan fires at Tony Gonzalez. Picks up an Atlanta first down. Out to the 48-yard line, Gonzalez gains 12.
That's a veteran pattern right here. Watch Tony Gonzalez. He's just going to go up. He's going to see that he's wide open. Just going to sit down. Matt Ryan finds him. Good enough for the first down.
I mean, there's no landmark on this route. It's a field route, and Kerry Rhodes is playing him the safety for the Arizona Cardinals. As soon as he turns his back, Tony Gonzalez just puts his foot in the ground and shows his numbers to Matt Ryan.
From the 47, play action. Ryan checks it down to Quiz Rodgers. And a nice tackle by Sam Ancho out at midfield after a gain of just 3. Here comes Michael Turner. He's been on the sidelines for this entire series.
Again, we talked about him being a rhythm runner. And now with Jaquiz Rodgers, you know, he's starting to create more than just a niche for himself in this offense. And you know, he's caught the coach's eyes at practice. They've expanded his role, so it's even going to be more and more difficult for Michael Turner to get those reps where he's able to feel like he gets into a rhythm.
Only 6 yards on 4 carries today. 2nd down and 7. Ryan steps up and fires in the vicinity of both Gonzalez and Julio Jones.
And Tony Gonzalez got tangled up with Adrian Wilson on that.
Do a nice job right here, the offensive line, of going and picking up the blitz. They're bringing 6 guys. Here's Tony Gonzalez, tripped up a little bit, so his feet's good.
Incidental.
Yeah.
A couple of perennial Pro Bowlers, Gonzalez and Adrian Wilson.
3rd and 8, just where the Falcons like to be, Kenny.
Right. Ryan on 3rd and long, dumps it off, and Rodgers, with a couple of nice moves, picks up a first down. They do it again on 3rd and more than 2.
It's one of the things that Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, talked about. Defenses are defending the 3rd and short so much differently in the league this year. They're committing so many players in there that, you know, when you've got like a typical short yardage goal line formation or personnel group, it's hard to do that. So I really think you'll start to see him loosen that up. Maybe even go to some 3 wides and different things like that when he's in the 3rd and short situations.
Dirk Cutter, former head coach at Arizona State University. First year with the Falcons. From the 41. 10th play of the drive. Crowder stays on his feet. And is finally down at the Arizona 35.
And that's that rhythm that you talk about. I mean, he's tackled at the line of scrimmage for no gain, Tony. I mean, Kerry Rhodes has got him, number 25, and he just shrugs that off and gets downfield.
Yeah, he runs to the arm tackle. See the arm tackle right here? The problem was Rhodes tried to tackle him too high. You can't tackle high like that around the shoulder pads. You want to be around the waist or the legs.
Carter's best run today, Goose, and here he is again on 2nd and 4. And he is stopped just shy of the marker. Darryl setting up another 3rd and short situation for the Falcons.
Well, we'll get an opportunity to see it right here because this is one that has been their Achilles heel all through the season, and it really jumped up and bit them last week against New Orleans. And you know, we'll see what the thought process is moving forward. We'll see if Dirk Cutter is committed to doing some different things. You can see the personnel group out there. This is not your traditional 3rd and short grouping.
Snelling in the backfield. Douglas in motion. It's Jason Snelling, and he is stopped by Darryl Washington.
And what did they say about last week's game? Free guys in the hole. And that's the same thing here. It's 3rd and short, and there's free defenders in the hole. Here's Darryl Washington right here. My gosh, the guy is considered one of the best defensive players in the NFL. We've got to get a hat on that guy. We can't let him sneak into the backfield.
I don't know what Sam Baker was looking at. Darryl Washington was right in front of him, and he went out to go and block a defensive back.
So the Falcons once again denied on 3rd and short. Here is Matt Bryant, 51-yard attempt from straight away. Bryant's kick has the distance. It is good. So the Falcons are on the board, but held to 3 following this tackle by one of the best in the league this season on defense, the Cardinals' Darryl Washington.
On Fox is sponsored by the all-new Dodge Dart. Dodge, new rules. By Burger King. Come celebrate 55 years of the Whopper sandwich at Burger King, where taste is king. And by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Fox Theater in Atlanta. Falcons finally on the board. 13-play drive culminating with the 51-yard Matt Bryant field goal. Cardinals with a 10-point lead, thanks in large part to 3 interceptions of Matt Ryan, which have led to 10 of the 13 Arizona points. William Powell on the return. Powell stays on his feet, and now it's down at the 13-yard line as Ryan Lindley, 6th-round pick out of San Diego State, will replace John Skelton. Lindley making his NFL debut. Well, here's John Skelton, who starts the game 2 for 7, and we have been told by the Cardinals organization it is not an injury situation, so Skelton pulled will be replaced by the rookie Ryan Lindley.
Well, the Cardinals know what's wrong with their team. There's injuries, which means you have a small margin for error. Number one, don't beat yourself, and when a play is there to be made, you've got to make the play, and John Skelton did not make plays from the quarterback spot when he was on the field.
Lindley's first NFL pass attempt is incomplete, intended for Andre Roberts. "49 consecutive starts for Lindley at San Diego State. 6th-round pick by the Cardinals. Set Mountain West Conference records for career starts, attempts, completions, and yards. So a terrific collegiate career for Lindley.
He has seen a lot of football at the collegiate level, but I tell you what, getting thrown into the mix right now with probably not a whole lot of preparation during the course of those 2 weeks off the bye. It's going to be a tough challenge for him.
Lindley hands it off on 2nd and 10. Stevens howling out to the 21-yard line for a gain of 7.
And I would keep coming back to
Absolutely.
that. I mean, this offensive line for Arizona has they've opened some holes for LaRod Stevens-Howling. That's the one part of this offense that is working well today, but you've got to find that complementary piece. Ken Wisenhunt, at times, when he can and he feels that he has the confidence in his guys to do it, be a little aggressive. We've seen one play when they missed Larry Fitzgerald for the touchdown, but we need to see a few more.
Fitzgerald split out to the left. He's set in motion. 3rd down and 3. Lindley hit as he throws. And the Cardinals forced the punt.
That ball could still be live.
It is ruled a touchdown.
Yeah, you know what? I heard no whistle down here on the field. The ball's on the ground. Everybody's running off except for a couple of the defensive guys. They scoop the ball up. And
I agree, Tony. I did not hear a whistle up here.
Nope.
It was actually John Abraham that alerted a teammate to grab the ball.
John Abraham came with the pressure on the outside.
Let's see if that hand is going forward.
Looked like it was on that replay.
Is the pass behind Lindley, though? It almost went sideways.
But is the arm coming forward, Tony? Is that motion started forward?
Now remember, it was ruled a touchdown. Every scoring play is reviewed upstairs. You saw the pager in Bill Vinovich's hand. As we head to Los Angeles and we'll check in with Mike Pereira. Mike, what did you see? Here's Bill Vinovich first.
I'll tell you,
The previous play is under review.
About the hand.
All right, so the play is under review, and now we'll head to Mike Pereira. Mike?
Okay. You got to focus on the hand, and that's all they're going to look at. Is the hand clearly moving forward? Remember, they ruled it a fumble, or does the ball come loose at the contact point just when the hand starts forward? Watch this. Hand straight up, ball comes loose before that hand starts forward. You know, to me, no whistle blown. They ruled it a fumble. This is a fumble. It looks funny because the ball bounces forward, but...
All right, thanks, Mike. They'll take a look. We'll be back.
This game is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible.
Back in Atlanta, we head down to the field. Bill Vinovich.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
And not only John Abraham making the play, Kenny, but also alerting his teammates to the fact that the whistle had not been blown. Watch 55. He's the one that causes the fumble on Ryan Lindley. But watch him now after the play. He's paying attention. He hasn't heard a whistle, He's the one that alerts everybody that that's a live ball. Now, Larry Fitzgerald had run a shallow cross from the opposite side of the field. He was right there for the Arizona Cardinals.
Leave it up to a defensive lineman, Darryl. They know what's going on. Jonathan Babineau goes, scoops the ball up, gets to the end zone.
Bryant, the extra point. Falcons pulled to within 3. The Abraham sack, forced fumble. Babineau, second career touchdown. And Mike Pereira, we heard from you a couple of minutes ago. You thought the call would stand, and it did.
You know, we changed this rule just a few years ago because the rule used to say if the arm had started forward, and we changed that to make it just the hand, because when the elbow hinges, you can see the elbow starts actually forward, but that's not the forward movement of the hand, and the contact by the defender knocked the ball out just as the hand was getting ready to start forward. He did the right thing in staying with the fumble call.
Great explanation, Mike.
Thanks very much, Mike. So, Goose, you talked about Abraham in our open, working against the 2 rookie tackles, and he comes up with the sack, the forced fumble, leading to the Babineau score.
Yeah, you're taught that when you're a defensive player. Whenever that ball is on the ground, scoop it up and run, and let the officials make the decision whether it's, you know, dead ball or it's a live ball. That's exactly what they did here.
And how about the old saying, Tony, play to the whistle? And it was very,
no whistle.
Very observant of John Abraham. Hey, there was no whistle there. You know, He's waiting for the ball to be blown dead. Nothing happens. He alerts his teammates to pick it up and take off.
That's a great play by him.
So the Falcons have pulled to within 3 after trailing by 13. There's Powell on the return for Arizona. And William Powell is across midfield. Finally forced out of bounds inside the 35-yard line.
Atlanta's just trying to give every opportunity to this team to go and stay in this game today.
You directionally kick, they're going to take it out to the wide side of the field. Always a tough return against the coverage team because everybody wants to squeeze that football. If you lose your lane integrity, that ball will always find its way into that open lane.
65 yards on the return by William Powell. So with John Skelton still on the sidelines, second series for Ryan Lindley. And the Cardinals start from the Falcons' 35-yard line. A wild first half here in Atlanta as Stephen Howling is forced back and finally tackled by William Moore. A loss of 5 yards on the play.
But we've been talking about Atlanta and their tackling, and that's well done by William Moore because he comes to balance. You know, he's coming in, he's dropping down from the secondary, but he breaks down and comes to balance before he throws for the tackle.
In case you joined us late, Matt Ryan picked off 3 times in the first quarter. Cardinals led 13-0. And then the Cardinals make a quarterback change. They pull John Skelton. The rookie Ryan Lindley sacked on 3rd down on his first career drive, and it was returned for a touchdown. And now Stephen Howling is met by Robert McClain after a gain of only 2.
This defense is really starting to hit their stride right now. Throw catch, watch the tackle right there. We've had 2 really well done tackles by Atlanta on back-to-back plays, and it's an area that they struggled with last week against the New Orleans Saints and really earlier in this first quarter against Arizona.
Cardinals have not converted on 3rd down today. Lindley out of the shotgun, 3rd down and 12. Cardinals must get to the 25-yard line, and they cannot. Passes off the hand of Michael Floyd.
I'll tell you what, it wasn't a bad route on the outside right there. And I thought that Ryan Lindley put this into place. Well, that ball should have been caught.
You know what, Tony, though, not an opportunity to run routes together. You know, Michael Floyd is working back towards the quarterback. Yeah, Ryan Lindley's throwing it to the outside.
Mastodon with 2 terrific punts of 60 and 62 yards earlier. Not working with as much field here. End over end kick. Fair catch is called for at the 8-yard line by Dominique Franks. Welcome to the NFL, Ryan Lindley. Welcome back. The Atlanta Falcons started the season 8-0. Lost last week in New Orleans, fell behind 13-0 at home to Arizona today. There's Jonathan Babineau, who has the Falcons touchdown. Falcons offense will go to work from their own 9-yard line. Matt Ryan picked off 3 times in the first quarter. But the Falcons have battled their way back, trailed by just 3. Ryan, Ronnie White.
I like it. You know, he's off to a tough start today, but it's not all on Matt Ryan, so stay with him. You know, keep calling some plays. This is such a well-thrown ball to Roddy White on the outside. Working against Greg Toller there. Look at him drop that one in. And Dirk Cutter told us Matt Ryan is making throws this season that he probably wouldn't even have attempted in seasons past. He just continues to grow with confidence on these deeper throws.
37 yards from Ryan to White. From the 46, Ryan steps up, throws complete to Snelling. But Quentin Probes Getting the start today for Brian Schofield, up to make the tackle, gain of 4.
And this Arizona defense cannot get disheartened right now. They have come out, they have played a heck of a game up until this point, and things have not gone their way. They've provided great field position. It's only a 3-point game right now, and there's an opportunity for them to get frustrated. But if you're going to have success today, it's going to come from this side of the ball. The defense will drive the success of the Arizona Cardinals this afternoon. Darryl Washington's got to keep his guys together.
Second down and 6. Inside handoff to Turner, and Michael Turner picks up a first down.
Michael Turner did a nice job of being patient on that play right there. Justin Blaylock comes around on the pull. Michael Turner waits for him and uses him as a lead blocker to go and punch ahead for some nice yardage.
Not only being patient, Tony, but that's kind of a run we used to see from Atlanta all the time. Nothing pretty, didn't look great, but boy, it was effective. It got a lot of yards. Get in behind that big offensive line. Stay on your feet. Don't go to the ground and just push that pile.
Well, Turner with a couple of nice runs after the slow start. Picked up 10. New set of downs for the Falcons. Ryan steps up, throws. It's Roddy White again for another Falcons first down to the Arizona 20. 19 more yards from Ryan for Roddy White.
So difficult for a defense when you play Atlanta. There's so many weapons on the outside. They're doing a nice job taking away Julio Jones and Tony Gonzalez, but you've got Roddy White as well.
How about
Look at that. Oh, man.
Roddy White with 91 on only 4 receptions. From the Cardinals 20. Quick out to White. Fends off William Gay with the stiff arm. And then is forced out of bounds by Kerry Rhodes after picking up 7 more.
And there's the trust and the confidence of Matt Ryan with his guys on the outside. This is a run play, but he sees the one-on-one with the big soft cushion to the outside. He just pops up and throws it to Roddy White. I'll take Roddy White one-on-one versus William Gay on the outside. Matt Ryan has tremendous confidence in his skill players around him.
And you know, Darryl, when you say it's a run play, everybody else on the offense was firing off the ball. That's what Darryl saw, and knowing it's a run play, and just Matt knew that it was going to be a pass outside to Roddy.
Here's Turner running right with Mike Johnson. There's Mike, number 79, scored a touchdown last week in as an extra blocker. And Turner looks to have a Falcons first down. He does.
You know, every once in a while, your quarterback's going to get off to a tough start, and it's up to the other side of the ball, special teams. Somebody has to kind of pick up that slack, and that's what happened this afternoon. Matt Ryan came out and had a tough start. Some tipped balls led to interception, a bad decision on his part, but his defense has made a play on that fumble return for a touchdown that's got this offense functioning again.
Here's to Quiz Rogers. Remember, this drive started back at the 9-yard line as the center Todd McClure, 14-year vet, is down.
And this will be tough because when Todd McClure was out of the lineup last year at the beginning of the season, this offense struggled on the inside.
He is the leader on that offensive line right there. He's the guy that makes all the calls, the slides, identifies the Mike backer, tells everybody else what to do on blitzes.
So Joe Hawley practicing some snaps.
Todd McClure walked off the side, getting retaped on the sideline right now. And we talked about keeping your feet moving as an offensive lineman so you can help your guys push the pile and everything. The other reason you keep your feet moving is so you don't have somebody roll up on top of it. And that's what happened. That pile fell and got down, and Todd McClure had his foot planted, and all that body weight comes down.
So Joe Hawley, 4th season out of Arizona State, in for McClure. Ryan out of the shotgun on 2nd and goal. Harry Douglas down at the 9. As we approach the 2-minute warning here in Atlanta, as McClure heads back onto the field. 3rd and goal coming up for the Falcons, who trail by 3. Cardinals lead the Falcons by 3. 3rd and goal from the 10-yard line for Atlanta. 3 wide receivers. Ryan looking end zone. He throws, and the pass was intended for Roddy White with Greg Toller coming back after missing the last 4 games. Toller on the coverage.
Again, here's that identity of the Cardinals. That's just with 4 guys. They're around Matt Ryan without adding the extra defender. And what the Falcons have to do is take advantage in that situation of Tony Gonzalez being the guy that everybody's focused on, and they miss an opportunity going to Roddy White.
So here's Matt Bryant, hit from 51 earlier. This a 28-yard attempt from the right hash. And the Falcons have battled back from a 13-point deficit. We are now tied at 13. As we head to Los Angeles, and Kurt Menefee check in. What's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt?
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, these guys will be more than just eye candy as we get you caught up on all the action around the NFL, including the Cowboys trying to continue their turnaround as they host the Browns, and the Jets, well, they'll try and end a tumultuous week by beating the Rams. We'll find out on the Visa Halftime.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. Mike Smith's Falcons tied for the best record in the league with the Houston Texans at 8-1. Tampa Bay now trailing Carolina 14-10. New Orleans with a late game out in Oakland.
And I think you've got to keep your eyes on New Orleans there. It was a big win against Atlanta last week. And if they get that defense figured out, I think New Orleans could make some noise down the stretch. Tampa Bay, a team that I don't think a lot of people understand that they were above 500, sitting there at 5-4. And, you know, they've got to take care of business against Carolina. Carolina's a team that's had a tough season this far. And Tampa Bay, if they want to make that push at the end of the year, they've got to be able to take care of Carolina today.
Saints will visit the Georgia Dome in 11 days, a week from Thursday.
Unbelievable. 2 games in 18 days. Atlanta, New Orleans, twice in 18 days.
So for the Falcons today, the start of a stretch. 3 games in 12 days for the division-leading Falcons. Here's Powell had a 65-yard return earlier. There is a flag as Powell takes it out to the 23.
But Arizona's really hurting special teams
Holding.
penalties.
Offense number 94. Passes it to the goal. Arizona keeps the ball. First down.
That's Sam Acho, 3rd special teams penalty committed by the Cardinals.
Ryan, 94 right there. I've seen worse, but again, how many times do we say it, Tony? If the guy goes to the ground,
you're in position
whether there's
already.
a lot of emphasis on it.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals backed up to their 6. Byron Fitzgerald has not caught a pass today. Only 2 Cardinals with receptions, Stevens, Howling, and Floyd. So more Arizona defensive players have caught balls today than offensive players.
What are you trying to say, Kenny?
That could
Defenses are dominating. Tell him, Kenny.
Could change on this possession. We'll see. Cardinals keep it on the ground on first down, and Stevens Howling with a first down and more. Cuts it back to the inside. He's across midfield and is finally down at the Atlanta 42-yard line. So LaRod Stevens Howling gains 52 yards on that run.
What a cut.
This is amazing.
Oh, my God.
Again, he's going to bounce right here. This is unbelievable. Robert McClain has him. He's coming from the outside in. He shouldn't even be able to see him. LaRod Stevens Howling, what great peripheral vision to sense him coming from the outside and make that cut.
I mean, he was running full speed straight ahead, and then he went full speed to the right.
He had a 40-yard run earlier. This one went for 52 as the Cardinals used their first time out. Arizona came into the game last in the league in rushing, 76 yards on average per game.
Well, Atlanta struggled with it last week against New Orleans. A lot of that was missed tackles on a big run by Chris Ivory, and we've got it here again. You know, a missed tackle in the beginning of a run, creating a huge run.
I'd run the ball again. Just keep running it until they stop it.
A minute 24 on the clock. 2 timeouts for the Cardinals. who had a 13-0 lead after one. Lindley throws, and it's Floyd for an Arizona first down. Michael Floyd with his second reception today, and it's good for 17 yards. We approach 1 minute on the clock.
Everyone's big.
Ryan Lindley in for John Skelton, who started the game and was pulled. Lindley on the slant. That was intended for Fitzgerald, who still does not have a catch today.
And Ryan Lindley's got to be careful. He's coming out. He's really staring down his receivers right now, which is to be expected. A young guy, his first opportunity here, but you talked about his college career. You know, you got to have the confidence and the trust in your teammates. Go through your progression, find your receiver. You cannot backpedal into that pocket staring down receivers at the NFL. You're going to give yourself a pick six.
3 receivers to the right. On 2nd and 10. Lindley in trouble. Wrapped up back at the 31-yard line. There is a flag. It's John Abraham again, who had the sack and the forced fumble earlier.
I don't know. I don't think John Abraham, I know he's fast off the ball, but he can't be that fast.
Offside. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
I'll tell you what. Take a look at this. John Abraham. He's looking down at the ball. I mean, nobody moves. He was anticipating, and sometimes you got to do that as a defensive end when you know it's going to be a pass, but he's back there a little too fast, I think. Even the officials had to second-guess themselves a little bit.
So following the penalty goose, now 2nd down and 5. 46 seconds remaining in this second quarter. Lindley from the shotgun. He was looking for Stevens Howling with Croy Bierman on the coverage.
How about Croy Bierman and all the different things that he can do as a defensive player for the Atlanta Falcons? We've seen him rush the passer. He's dropping it right there. We've seen how quick and explosive LaRod Stevens Howling is today, and they're not afraid of that. We'll put Croy Bierman on him coming out of the backfield.
And he can see everything, man. Bierman's got those yellow contacts, Dan. It's like something you use at a shooting range or something like that to give you better vision.
No catches for Fitzgerald. Dominic Frank still in for Asante Samuel. 3rd down and 5. And Lindley's pass is nearly intercepted by Dante Robinson. Thought he had it.
Yeah, this is a dangerous combination right here. A young quarterback who may be staring down receivers in 2 very aggressive corners in Dante Robinson and Asante Samuels. Look at him. He's got eyes into the backfield. He's staring at the quarterback the whole time.
So here's Jay Feely out to attempt a 38-yard field goal. 2 for 2 back in the first quarter. And you see Feely signal timeout. Cardinals using their second. Well, this week, Fox College football begins on Friday. 25th ranked Washington battles Washington State in a showdown between in-state rivals. Then Saturday, the Baylor Bears take on 23rd ranked Texas Tech, followed by number 13 Stanford and number 17 UCLA. Coverage of Fox College football begins Friday at 3 Eastern. Noon Pacific continues Saturday at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific, right here on Fox.
Baylor with the big upset yesterday, huh?
Yeah, 1 and 2 going down.
Man. Notre Dame wasn't too unhappy about that.
No, they were not. There's John Skelton, who started the game at quarterback for the Cardinals. Ryan Lindley on the right. Jake Feely. 38-yard attempt from the left hash. Zastinel placed it down. And Feely is 3 for 3 as the Cardinals take a 3-point lead.
I had a lot of field goals today, but let's go back and take a look at 2 of our touchdowns. LaRod Stevens Howling has had a heck of a first half here for Arizona. That's your opening drive turnover, just a 9-yard drive. And on a fumble right here, nobody's paying attention. You saw Larry Fitzgerald there. He kind of walked right by the ball. It was John Abraham who got his teammates alerted to the fact that the whistle hadn't blown, Jonathan Babineau scoops it up and carries it in. That really kind of shifted everything back to Atlanta. Football is a game of momentum, and Ken Wisenhunt's team had come out and really seized the momentum. They had Matt Ryan very, in a tough situation, 3 interceptions in that first quarter. And then that play, the fumble return by Jonathan Babineau, swung all that momentum back to Atlanta.
Falcons trailed 13-0, scored the next 13 points, and now Philly has put the Cardinals back on top. There's Babineau, second career touchdown. No catches for Larry Fitzgerald in this first half. Falcons will start from their 20-yard line with 32 seconds on the clock and all 3 timeouts.
Be interesting to see what they do coming out here. It's been a tough first half for them. Do you just kind of come out, kill that clock, and go in at halftime and get everything sorted out, or do you try and be aggressive? Atlanta's one of the better teams in the NFL in 2-minute situations at the end of the half and the end of the game.
Remember, the Cardinals will get the ball first in the second half. They won the toss and deferred. And then John Johnson picked off Ryan on the first play from scrimmage. 32 seconds, 3 timeouts from the 20-yard line. Falcons set up the screen, and this is Jason Snelling, who gains 13 down to the 33. It takes 9 seconds, and now the Falcons use their first timeout.
Now, a lot of times as an offense,
Atlanta,
you'll come out and you'll run a very conservative play on the opening of a 2-minute drive in this type of scenario where you're kind of unsure how you want to, what your mode of operation is going to be. Do we want to just go in at halftime, or do we want to take a shot at this? Come out, run a draw, run a screen. If you get a good play, then all of a sudden everything kind of shifts and you move back into that thought process of let's try and get some points here before the end of the half.
You need to go about 30 yards to get into field goal range. Falcons perfect at home this season. They've won 8 straight overall here in the Dome. Matt Ryan 30-4 at home in the regular season, trailing by 3. Ryan over the middle, and the catch is made by Rodgers, who takes it out to midfield. So now the Falcons will use their second timeout as they are much closer to field goal range. 17-yard pickup for Jaquiz Rodgers. There is Matt Bryant. His season long is a 55-yard field goal. And Goose, I know you spoke to field goal kickers before the game. What did Bryant tell you?
No, Matt Bryant said he should be good right around 57, 58 yards inside. So feels pretty good today. I don't know what that leaves us there, Kenny. How many yards do we need to get to that 58?
10 more yards would
10 more.
lead to a 58-yard attempt.
Both of these kickers in this game, Jay Feely and Matt Bryant, man, both have strong legs.
They both hit from 60 plus in their careers. Feely did it earlier this season. So the Falcons with 1 timeout remaining from midfield. Bryant steps up, pump fake, and then he throws it off the fingertips of Julio Jones. Down to 8 seconds.
Good job of changing the cadence by Matt Ryan right there. He gets Patrick Peterson to declare that blitz. Now watch, they pick it up. But so you bring a pressure, you've taken people out of coverage. That's a good job by everybody else on Arizona. Had everybody covered, forced Matt Ryan to throw that ball away. When they picked that blitz up as well as they did, I thought there was going to be an opportunity for a big play for the Falcons.
So the Falcons need at least 10 yards, and they must do it in less than 8 seconds in order to call the timeout and send the field goal unit onto the field. Ryan fires. It's Jones. He gets down at the 30-yard line. Mike Smith running downfield, able to call timeout. So 20-yard pass play from Ryan to Jones will lead to a 48-yard attempt for Bryant.
Good awareness and good trust right there. Julio Jones, number 11, is going to get down the field. He's going to catch the ball. Now watch him. He knows. Get down on the ground so we can call that timeout and have an opportunity for the field goal. Sometimes these young players, I'm going to see if I can make a big play here and break out of this, and you miss the opportunity to kick that field goal.
So Bosher will set up at the right hash. It will be a 48-yard attempt for Bryant, hit from 51 and 28 earlier. Ball is placed down by Bosher, and Bryant's kick, no doubt about it. So Matt Bryant hitting for the third time in the second quarter. First half comes to an end. Falcons and Cardinals tied at 16. Time for the Visa halftime report. Now to Los Angeles. Here's Kurt. Falcons and Cardinals tied at 16 as we get set for the third quarter in Atlanta. Cardinals will receive the opening kick. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Arizona led 13-0. Atlanta tied the game at 13. And then a couple of late field goals. Bosher's kickoff, taken 7 yards deep. Powell takes a knee, so the Cardinals will start at their own 20-yard line, led out by rookie quarterback Ryan Lindley. Crazy first half, Darryl.
Crazy first half, and I think Jimmy Johnson hit the nail right on the head. There's certain games where you're just the better team and you should win because of that, and that's the scenario right here. Atlanta is the better team today. It's been a tough season for Arizona. Can't establish continuity. You've got a young quarterback out there right now. It's 16-16. If this team is going to do the things that they talk about doing when they get into the playoffs, then they've got to handle business here in the second half.
Skelton pulled. Lindley on first and 10 from the 20-yard line. The toss to Stephen Towling, and it's tackled for a loss of 2 by Akeem Datkus.
What's up, Kenny? Talked to Coach Wisenhut. You know, going in, 2 things he said is the reason why we made the quarterback change. You can't have the incompletes that we had, and we had too many missed opportunities. He's talking about, you know, the one in the end zone, just not getting done what we needed to get done. That's why we made the change. So that's his remarks.
Big missed opportunity for John Skelton with Larry Fitzgerald wide open in the end zone. Skelton just 2 for 7. Lindley is also 2 for 7, now 3 for 8 as Larry Fitzgerald makes his first catch today out of the 30-yard line for an Arizona first down.
Well, Ken Wisenhunt was very honest with us. He said, listen, during the bye week, I don't have to tell the guys what's wrong. I don't have to tell them what's going on with the Arizona Cardinals this season. They all know the injury scenarios and what's going on. We just need to get out there. We can't beat ourselves, and we have to make plays. And John Skelton had a big opportunity to make a play. Their defense is playing lights out, giving the offense tons of opportunities, and they weren't taking advantage of it.
I think a coach has to do that, make that change in that situation.
Inside handoff to Stephen Towling. And he gains 5 out to the 35-yard line. John Skelton making his 16th career start today. Came in with a record of 8-7.
You're not able to establish any flow. That was the one time they had bad field position, but I mean, you missed Larry Fitzgerald pretty rough there. But here's the one. Here's where the decision was made right there. You get another turnover. Your first play from scrimmage, and we talked about them being more aggressive. They've got a double move on to Larry Fitzgerald. You have got to hit that play, and they missed it.
Lindley with time on first down, going deep, a bit too far for Fitzgerald.
Hey, what nice pass though, Darryl. Lindley put that one up in a nice spot for only.
I'm surprised you got Larry Fitzgerald down there with just Robert McClain. You would think there would be some help over the top.
Well, we have not seen Asante Samuel back on the field since he suffered that Injury in the first half. He's walking up and down the Atlanta sidelines without his helmet, still out of the game. There's Asante. Four-time Pro Bowl corner. Play clock winding down. And Lindley forced to use a timeout. He's not happy. So when we return, 3rd down and 5 for Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals.
Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By the all-new Ford Fusion, go further. And by Windows Phone. Meet the new Windows Phone, the smartphone reinvented around you.
Do not try this at home.
Oh, I think if I was in that tank, my head would be on a swivel. Looked like a big fish swimming over the top of them when they made that one little toss to the outside.
Looks like fun at the Atlanta Aquarium. Falcons and Cardinals tied at 16. 3rd down and 5, Arizona. Lindley on 3rd down. And the catch is made by Early Doucette. So the Cardinals, for the first time in this game, convert on 3rd down. They had been 0 for 7.
Good concentration by Early Doucette. He's really wrestling with this one. It's on the back hip and then slides down.
First catch for Doucette today as he maintained control. From the 41-yard line, it's Stevens Howling, who rushed for 113 yards in the first half, setting a new career high at a 40-yard run and a 52-yarder. This time picks up 2 and then heads to the sidelines. He had a 104-yard game against the Vikings earlier this season. Only 80 yards in all of his other games combined. Cardinals hope to have Beanie Wells back next week.
Well, that would be a real big lift for the Arizona Cardinals, getting Beanie Wells back. But now with the Rod Stevens Howland playing the way he is, that's a nice 1-2 punch.
Here's William Powell, who stays on his feet in for Stevens Howland. Takes it out to midfield.
Asante Samuel, as Kenny mentioned, still on that sideline without his helmet right now, trying to test how much strength he's got in those arms, that injured shoulder when he's pressing.
Robert McClain, 27, still in for Samuel. 3rd down and 1 for Arizona. Powell in the backfield. The toss to William Powell. And Powell is close. Looks to have a first down at the Atlanta 49-yard line.
I'm surprised that Arizona has struggled as much as they have running the football this season, watching them this afternoon. I mean, both running backs are running well. They're running physical behind their pads. The offensive line is doing a nice job getting a hat on a hat, staying with their man.
Doing it with the 2 rookie tackles. Potter making his first start. And Massey out of Mississippi at right tackle. From the Falcons 49. They keep it on the ground with Powell. And he gains 3. Down at the 46, setting up 2nd down and 7.
Maybe a commitment today because of that man right there, John Abraham, and you've got 2 young guys
and
out on the edge.
Limping.
Yeah. So you get in there, you run that football, you keep him off balance. Boy, he's been fighting that this whole time in between plays.
Yeah, trying to wear them guys down on defense a little bit. Try to slow that pass rush.
And Goose, this will be the 10th play of the drive. 2nd down and 7. Off the play fake, Lindley in trouble. Down he goes back at the 38-yard line. 2nd sack of the season for Stephen Nicholas.
And that's a young guy's mistake right there. You know, trying to avoid pressure here. You're going to get Stephen Nicholas matched up against Anthony Sherman And just know right now that as you drift back and he's going to escape, this is going to be a big loss. Step up. For a young quarterback, I think one of the hardest things for them to realize is the ability to step up gives you a better opportunity to avoid the sack.
Second Falcon sack today. Cardinals have allowed a season-high 43. Third down at 21. As Lindley saw pressure coming, throws it into the ground.
They recognized the screen on that play. Lindley did a nice job just throwing it away. Defense was all over it.
I tell you, the previous play is going to be a play that gets lost during the course of this game, but that sack by Stephen Nicholas after Arizona had put together a pretty good drive here to start this second half. That was a big play in stealing some momentum back.
So the Cardinals chew up nearly 6 minutes, unable to score. Gastineau punting from his own 30-yard line. Another good kick. This is Dominique Franks. And Franks is out across the 40-yard line. Big return by Dominique Franks of 28 yards. Anthony Sherman finally made the tackle. A salute from Nicholas following his sack of Lindley. Back in Atlanta, Falcons Cardinals tied at 16. Arizona took a 13-0 first quarter lead. 3 interceptions of Matt Ryan in that opening quarter. But the Falcons battled their way back, now starting from their own 41-yard line. The handoff to Turner. And Turner is bottled up. Paris Leonard, first Cardinal. In on the tackle, no gain.
Michael Turner, we talked about in the first half, getting into that rhythm. This is one of those games where maybe he really, in my opinion, was running well in that second quarter. I would come out right now in this third quarter and see if I can establish him a little bit right here. You know, let's not lean on Matt Ryan a lot today. Let's get back to this running game. Let's see if that can be a difference maker in this afternoon.
Second down at 10. Ryan the outside and sells out of bounds. So third down and 10 coming up. Matt Ryan back-to-back 300-yard games. Career high 411 last week in the loss in New Orleans. He has never lost back-to-back starts in his NFL career.
That's an impressive stat. We saw his record here at home, but the fact that he's never come back out and followed up a loss the following week, that speaks volumes about him. He's very mature for a young guy here in the NFL. It's been fun to watch his career grow.
And he's very competitive also.
Now in his 5th season. Ryan not anticipating the snap, and the play is blown dead.
That could almost been disaster right there. Matt Ryan was not ready to go and take that
Ball
snap.
start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Matt's trying to audible off right here. Todd McClure thinks that he's ready to go. Luckily, he wasn't looking to the right or left and saw that ball coming.
So it pushes the Falcons back 5 yards. Now third down and 15. They must get to the Arizona 49 for a first down. Ryan fires downfield. He took a hit, and there is a flag. Darrell Washington with a late contact on Matt Ryan.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 92. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Matt Ryan slides to his right. Ball's thrown.
And Bill Vinovich announced 92, but it was 58. Darrell Washington, who's had an outstanding season. In fact, Terry Bradshaw a couple of weeks ago called Washington the defensive MVP in the entire league. He has 8 sacks and has been one of the leaders of this Cardinals defense.
That's a tough penalty right there. You've got Atlanta in a third and long situation. They make the stop and give up the first down on a penalty after the play.
On third and 15. New set of downs for the Falcons. From the Cardinals 49. A as Ryan goes deep. And Roddy White turned his head at the last instant, unable to come up with the reception. William Gay on the coverage.
Very, very late getting his head turned around to track this ball. You watch Roddy White the whole way down on the route. He's still running. He is yet to turn around. By the time he turns around, the ball is already in on his outside shoulder. Don't know why it took Roddy White so long to get his head turned around.
White with 5 catches, 98 yards in the first half. Now 2nd and 10 for Atlanta. Quick out to Roddy White. White down at the 45-yard line. Patrick Peterson the tackle, and Roddy goes over 100 for the 5th time this season. 3rd consecutive game with at least 100 yards receiving.
And that's another one of those situations where I think it's hard for Michael Turner to get that rhythm established, because that again, that was a run call. But you've got Roddy White on the outside with a big cushion, and Matt Ryan, pulls up and throws that little hot route to the outside. And there's another missed opportunity to establish some of that rhythm in the run game.
So it is now 3rd down and 6. Falcons must get to the 39 Goose. There they come. Ryan gets rid of it, and Jason Snelling at the Falcons' first down. They lose the football. What a save by Rashad Johnson. Wow. Check out the recovery, but what a save by Greg Toller.
That was unbelievable.
That is
what a heads-up play.
That is tremendous presence.
An unbelievable play by Toller. Acho knocked the ball away from Snelling.
His foot is inbounds. Is he still inbounds? Probably
it was
back.
Close. His foot was very close.
Mike Smith has thrown the challenge.
All turnovers are reviewed. A lot to discuss. Number one, did Greg Toller stay in bounds as he threw the ball back onto the field? And then, Darryl, as you said, Mike Smith threw his challenge flag. You cannot throw the challenge on either a scoring play or a turnover, which are automatically reviewed. And a penalty marker has been thrown. And there's Bill Vinovich chatting with Mike Smith.
And here's the biggest question we have. Did Greg Toller stay in bounds, or his toe on the line? Because once if his toe hits the line and he's out of bounds, he can't make that play on the ball.
And it was ruled a turnover on the field, so there must be indisputable visual evidence in order to remain a turnover.
Atlanta threw the challenge flag prior to the commencement of the review. Therefore, we are unable to review the penalty or review the previous play. We have an unsportsmanlike penalty. Arizona's ball, 1st down.
All right, so Mike Smith threw the flag. He's penalized. We bring in Mike Pereira.
Here is the issue. If you throw the challenge flag when you're not entitled to and on a turnover, and you throw it before the replay official has buzzed down to the field, you not only get charged 15 yards, but you lose the right to challenge or have the play reviewed, period, since the penalty was called first and since the flag was thrown first. So double dip, although I really don't think it would have been overturned, by the way, because when the foot pushes off, I think the toe is still in bounds. But you lose the right to a review by throwing the challenge flag when you're not entitled to.
All right, thanks, Mike. Last season, Jim Harbaugh was penalized for unsportsmanlike conduct for throwing a challenge flag on a scoring play. And now it's Mike Smith who throws the challenge flag on a turnover before the replay booth contacted Bill Vinovich. So the Cardinals keep control of the football as Steven Towling gains a yard.
And here's the other part that Mike Pereira talked about, though. The great play by Greg Toller. He feels that there's really not enough to overturn the way the play was called on the field. And remember, it was called recovery by Arizona.
Tremendous play.
But because it was ruled a turnover on the field, as we said, there must have been evidence to overturn, and Mike Pereira thought there was not enough. Now on 2nd down and 11, Lindley to the outside to Andre Roberts. And Roberts takes it out to the 49-yard line before he is met by Dante Robinson along with Mike Peterson. Call *NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game. But that play by Toller, similar to a basketball player you see leap out of bounds to save the ball and then call timeout while in midair.
Right, just great presence of mind by Greg Toller going out of bounds, knowing that he's not going to be able to save it himself, but to throw it back to see if one of his teammates can make the play.
So now a big 3rd down and 3 for Ryan Lindley and the Arizona Cardinals. Lindley over the middle, and the Cardinals pick up a first, but there is a flag as the catch is made by Early Doucette.
Pass interference. Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's on the tight end, Rob Hausler.
And this one came from deep in the secondary. They haven't had a lot of penalties today, Kenny, but when we have, they've been really, really damaging penalties.
3 big ones on special teams. Called on the Cardinals. This penalty forces them back to the 38-yard. They must get to the Falcons 48 as Lindley's pass, who was under pressure, was behind Larry Fitzgerald, and it was Abraham again coming with the hit on Ryan Lindley.
Starting to make his presence felt, Tony.
We talked about it in the beginning. There he is on Potter. Does a nice job at dipping down, gets held a little bit. That's the pressure that makes the difference.
Big game for John Abraham. Gastineau punting from his own 28. Another terrific kick. There is a flag. Dominique Franks on the return. Down inside the 10-yard line. Reggie Walker, the tackle on special teams. A 54-yard punt by Gastineau. Pad off, player went out of bounds.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 28. Half distance into the goal. Atlanta keeps the ball. 1st down. Timeout.
So this time it's a Falcons penalty on special teams. Late 3rd quarter, tied at 16. Ryan Lindley on the left. Today's Cardinals starting quarterback John Skelton on the right. 16-16 game, just over 5 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter in Atlanta. The 8-1 Falcons start from their own 5-yard line. Ryan quick out to Harry Douglas, and William Gay is right there to make the tackle, loss of a yard.
I think they've gone to the well one too many on that play.
Yeah, the Cardinals defense is all over that. That was supposed to be a run also.
Julio Jones back in. 2nd down and 11. Michael Turner in the backfield. 3 wide receivers. Jones split wide to the right. Ryan from the end zone on 2nd down. So the Falcons now facing a 3rd down and 11 in a tie game.
And Dockett bringing pressure right up the middle.
You know, Tony, it's not just the ability of the linebackers to get home on these blitzes too, but the impact that they're having when they're walking up. They're drawing the attention of the offensive line of Atlanta, and that all Darnell Dockett needs is a shoulder that doesn't get square. He needs half a step, exactly. And I think as much as them getting free, sometimes just creating that confusion with the Atlanta offensive line is having an impact.
It's huge. There's a lot of confusion on the offensive line for Atlanta right now. And they show the blitz.
Ryan from the shotgun. Julio Jones tackled at the 9. Falcons will punt it away. So Atlanta goes 3 and out with just over 4 minutes remaining. 3rd quarter.
You know, Darryl, once again, you talk about Michael Turner, Look at Julio Jones limping a little bit off on that little screen pass. Hurt something, but getting Michael Turner back in there and trying to get him a rhythm. Another series. We got 3 pass plays, and you know, Michael Turner another time long span where he doesn't have the ball in his hands.
Counted only 9 times today, Goose. Bosher punting from his end zone. Fair catch is called for, and then Peterson was knocked into, and it is Drew Davis who falls on it, but it is ruled Arizona football.
Yeah, that contact, that's legal contact with your returner because they are engaged in a block. That's not fair catch interference at all. Watch, it's going to be engaged in a block.
Now, if that ball would have hit him, it would have been a turnover, but it didn't.
Never hit Peterson. It will be Cardinals football at the 38-yard line.
They teach on special teams, right, Darryl? If that ball's up there and you're blocking somebody, get away.
Oh yeah, well, when it's free like that too, if you're engaged with somebody, push them towards it. All you have to do is have that team make contact, the receiving team makes contact with that football, it becomes live.
Well, Ryan Lindley in his NFL debut came on in relief of John Skelton in the first half. Lindley of the Cardinals start from the 38-yard line. Catch is made and taken out to the 43 for a gain of 5 by Early Doucette.
Tough situation. We talk about backup quarterbacks only being 1 play away due to injury. This time Ryan Lindley, he gets his opportunity because of lack of production from John Skelton. You can see 6 of 14 for 47 yards. No critical mistakes though with the turnovers.
Just one, which was returned for a touchdown by Domino. As Stephen Towling gets wrapped up by Mike Peterson. So 3rd down and long upcoming for the Cardinals.
There's a game sitting out there right now, Tony, and it just seems like neither one of these offenses want to take advantage of it. The defenses have really played pretty well all afternoon.
Yeah, they really have. One thing about Atlanta, when they're blitzing, it's really a delayed blitz, so you're giving a little bit of extra time to a young guy like Ryan Lindley to go look downfield and have an opportunity to complete a pass. You got to get into it a little bit faster if you're going to bring some pressure.
Lindley on 3rd and 8, not enough to set the catch. Owens to tackle. We head to Los Angeles. Check in with Kurt.
Well, after scoring 1 touchdown receiving in his first 8 games, is now back-to-back games with a touchdown for Calvin Johnson. His 25-yarder for Matthew Stafford put the Lions in front of the Packers 17-14 as they get ready to start the 4th quarter. Kenny Mercy News.
Thanks, Kurt. It's been an up-and-down season for the Lions. Bears will play the 49ers tomorrow night. Franks lets it go. And rolls into the end zone for a touchback. So with just under 2 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter, we remain tied in Atlanta. Julio Jones and the Falcons fell behind 13-0. Came back, tied the game at 13. Jones on the sidelines once again as the Falcons start from their own 20. Jones battling the ankle problems over the last 2 games. Ryan rolling to his right. On 1st down, and he is picked off for the 4th time today. It is Darrell Washington with his first interception of the season, and that is a new career high. 4 interceptions today thrown by Matt Ryan.
Oh, I cannot believe that Matt Ryan made this throw. Watch number 58. Keep your eyes on him right here. You're going to have the long bootleg where you've got the player coming across. Darrell Washington sees it, picks it up, reads it great, and undercuts it. I don't know what Matt Ryan was thinking. There's no way he is going to get that ball beyond Darrell Washington to Roddy White.
That's a great play by Darrell Washington.
So the Falcons, who turned the ball over 8 times in their first 9 games, 5 turnovers today. Now the Cardinals now have not always been able to capitalize on these short fields today either. Well, the field goals on a couple of occasions. From the Atlanta 16, it's Stevens howling up the middle. Now, they did score a touchdown on their opening drive after the first Ryan pick. So the Cardinals have lost their last 5 with a golden opportunity here.
Well, the reason we have Ryan Lindley in the game is because this offense has not been good when they've had opportunities presented to them by the defense. John Skelton with an opportunity for a touchdown to Larry Fitzgerald earlier in the game and missed that opportunity, and that's what the change was made. Ryan Lindley has got to get points here. This defense has done more than anybody could have expected them to do this afternoon for the Cardinal offense.
On 2nd and 7, the toss to Stevens howling. Cuts to the outside, gets tripped up by Stephen Nicholas.
Tell you what, sense of urgency by this defense. Jonathan Babineau, defensive tackle. Watch him. He gets engaged here and just keeps feathering it down the line of scrimmage. His eyes are always on where the running back is. Does a nice job of going, throwing the blocker off, and solidifying the tackle. He's had a great game today.
3rd down and 7.
I don't like this. They leave Larry Fitzgerald on the backside by himself. It's so easy to double him in that situation.
Lindley looks left away from Fitzgerald, now throws right to Doucette, and he will be tackled by Akeem Dent, about 2 yards shy of the marker.
I mean, you're taking your best offensive player and kind of making him into a decoy. When you put him backside all by himself, it's so easy to double cover him. Look at it, safety help over the top.
So the 3rd quarter comes to an end as the Cardinals send out Jay Feely on the field goal unit. We head to the 4th. Tied at 16. Cardinals led 13-0. Falcons came back with a defensive touchdown in the 2nd quarter. No scoring in the 3rd. And now, as we start the 4th, Jay Feely, 3rd all-time leading scorer for the Falcons, has hit 3 today for the Cardinals. This will be a 27-yard attempt from the right hash. Castanova plays it down. Feely is 4 for 4. Cardinals regain the lead. Early 4th.
Box is sponsored by Chevrolet. From kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep. By Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And by State Farm. Get to a better state with a discount double check.
Welcome back. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. 3-point lead for the Arizona Cardinals. Here in Atlanta, Falcons have won their last 8 at home. Started the season 8-0 before losing last week. A wacky game. Cardinals back on top. Chris Rogers takes a knee. Well, in honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league donates $100 to each of its nonprofit partners.
And we were out there Friday, had an opportunity to meet Todd Love, who lost both legs and an arm in Afghanistan, and Michael Schlitz. You can see the severe burns, and he lost both of his arms. You talk about salute to service and sacrifice that these guys made. One of the cool things, Todd Love actually got to hold on the kick.
During Falcons practice on Friday.
And they're here at the game today. I met him before the game. 2 great guys.
Great opportunity for us to meet and spend time with Todd and Michael, both on Friday and once again today here at the Georgia Dome. And Chris Rogers, gain of 4, out to the 24-yard line.
Well, Darryl, they started out with a run.
Well, you know,
That's a good sign.
The big thing, Tony, is what I was impressed with Atlanta during the first 8 games this season is they did all the little things right. You know, fundamentally, they were a very good team, at least penalized team, good with their turnovers. They weren't beating themselves, which is the first thing you have to do. And the last 2 weeks have been very different. You know, last week against New Orleans didn't tackle well. Some bad penalties today. The turnovers. I mean, the last 2 weeks very uncharacteristic of the Atlanta Falcons.
On 2nd and 6, Ryan waits, backpedals. And now fires to the outside, and there is a flag. Gonzalez, the intended receiver, half the Cardinals team on the field. Cardinals saying the ball was tipped. And if that's the case, officials would pick up the flag.
If it's pass interference, they'll pick up a pass interference flag. But if Tony Gonzalez was the receiver on the play working against Adrian Wilson.
There's no foul for pass interference as the ball was tipped. Third down.
Ball tipped by Paris Lennon, so no penalty for pass interference. So make it 9 different defensive players when you couple together the interceptions and the tips. 9 different players on the Arizona defense have gotten a hand on the football today. Third down and 6. Ryan again under pressure, gets rid of it. And it's a first down for Harry Douglas out to the 37-yard line. Gain of 13.
And Harry Douglas is slow getting up, and we've already got Julio Jones over on the bench. Looks like he's probably done for the rest of the day. Harry Douglas, number 83, is going to work underneath. Gets that separation right away on the release. Gets a couple steps on Greg Toller.
Looks like he got his right leg caught up underneath him right here.
So Drew Davis with 2 catches this season. Bottom of the screen, number 19 is in for Douglas as Ryan hands it off to Turner, and he is tackled by Washington.
You can see why everybody just raves about this guy. And that's Michael Turner. That's a big run right there, Tony, if he doesn't make this tackle.
Tell you what, Darrell Washington is playing lights out. He just goes, he sits down, he sees it, he throws his body, secures a good tackle. If he doesn't make that tackle, it could have been very dangerous.
Washington in his 3rd season out of TCU. Grew up in Irving, Texas, former home of the Cowboys. 2nd down and 9. Ryan steps up, throws, complete to Ronnie White. But William Gay comes up to make the tackle after a gain of just 3. So a 3rd down and 6 coming up for the Falcons, who trail by 3. %, on 3rd down today. Falcons must get to the 46. Harry Douglas back on the field. Short pass is caught by Davis. There is a flag, 2 flags, 3 flags, as Davis is brought down 2 yards shy of the marker. Bill Vinovich will sort things out.
Holding. Offense number 32. Penalties decline. Result of the play. 4th down.
Cardinals decline the penalty as Davis was stopped 2 yards shy.
Watch Jaquiz Rogers stepping up in pass protection. Head goes down, and that's the one thing when you talk about Darrell Washington. In that case, it was Paris Lennon. And it's okay to dial up a blitz, but you've got to have guys that are good at doing it. And both Darrell Washington and Paris Lennon are very good at finding those narrow alleyways through the center of the offensive line and eluding the blocks.
So Bosher waiting back at the 30-yard line. Andre Roberts is back deep this time for the Cardinals.
That's a big mistake right there.
Took it at the 4. And brings it out to the 14-yard line. 52-yard punt. Cardinals lead by 3.
Arizona starts backed up on this drive, but take a look at their 4 opportunities today that they have not taken advantage of. This is the story of the game. They've got 13 points out of that outstanding field position during the course of the game today.
The 4 drives that have started in Atlanta Falcons territory. This time they start from their own 14-yard line. Lindley to the outside on 1st down, and the catch is made by Early Doucette out at the 22-yard line for a gain of 8.
I think that that's what you have to do here with Ryan Lindley now. Get him out, allow him to make quick decisions. 3-step drop passing games. Don't get him back there holding the ball.
And don't abandon the run game. That's something that's they've been very good at all game. We haven't seen a lot of it lately.
Second down and 2. Inside handoff to Stevens Howling. Dropped about a yard shy of the marker by Croy Bierman. So 3rd down and 1 coming up for the Cardinals. On 3rd and 1, it's Stevens Howling again. And with the second effort, he is close. It will depend on the spot.
Looks like he's going to be short. Get a measurement here.
Definitely short of the yellow line, which is an official here. But I don't like this play on a 3rd and 1 situation. They've done other plays where they've gotten Stephen Howlings on the outside, a crack toss or a toss. Let him use that speed. We've seen some of the cuts that he's made today by just kind of wedging him up into the middle. That's not his style.
Well short. Good job by William Moore, who came up to make the tackle. So the Falcons will get the ball back. Just over 10 minutes remaining in the 4th, trailing by 3. Astudillo's had a big day.
That's impressive.
Two punts of at least 60 yards earlier. Waiting back at his own 10. Tackle towards the sideline. So the Falcons down by 3 will start from their own 30-yard line when we come back.
Is sponsored by Cadillac, the standard of the world.
Cardinals lead by 3. Matt Ryan has been picked off 4 times, including 3 in the first quarter. Michael Turner held to 29 yards on the ground, and another big day for Roddy White. Falcons start from their 30. Trailing by 3. Ryan quickly to the outside to Harry Douglas, breaks a tackle, and picks up an Atlanta first down.
Well, we touched on this early in the 3rd quarter. Both of these defenses this afternoon have played well. It's been the offenses. We're waiting for one of these offensive groups to just take this game. It's hanging here in the balance. And again, let's go back to what Jimmy Johnson said at halftime. This is a game that Atlanta should win just because they're the better team today, and they have not played that way.
Falcons without Julio Jones, still on the sidelines. From the 41 on first down. Ryan for Douglas. And Harry Douglas with his 2nd consecutive first down as he's slammed to the ground by Kerry Rhodes after picking up 26.
Good job with the protection here because you've got both the linebackers coming on the blitz. Offensive line takes the first one. Running back takes the second one. Michael Turner gets Paris Lennon. Gives Matt Ryan the time to find Harry Douglas down the field.
From the 33, play action. Ryan steps up and throws. It's Roddy White at the 15-yard line. 3 consecutive plays, 3 consecutive first downs for the Falcons.
I think this is exactly what everybody's been expecting out of the Atlanta Falcons. A drive just like this, where they move the ball down the field. They have a lot of weapons on offense. Matt Ryan making good decisions, not the interceptions that we saw earlier in this game, but this is the offense that people are waiting to go and see.
Falcons in the red zone, thrown it a second time today. Here's Turner. And Turner takes it down to the 10-yard line of the Arizona Cardinals.
This is the first drive, Darryl, that I've seen him in some kind of a rhythm, where they're throwing the ball downfield, they're picking up protections.
But can they continue in that rhythm, Tony? Because we talked about their short yardage struggles. Here's the other area. They get into the red zone, and the last couple of weeks they've been struggling to close out these drives with touchdowns instead of field goals.
If they want credibility from people, if they want to go and have people talk about them and say, hey, listen, you're a contender in the playoffs, this is what you have to see, but not just, flashes of it in the game. You have to see it on a consistent basis.
Second down and 5. Ryan to the end zone. Douglas, the intended receiver, Toller on the coverage.
Take a look at this at the end of the play. The crowd here is booing Harry Douglas also. Check the protection first. Again, this is where they've done a nice job in the second half. They've given Matt Ryan the time. He doesn't have people in his face the whole time. And then working the outside. Greg Toller again. A little bit of an arm bar there at the end he might have gotten away with. See Harry Douglas talking to the official.
Falcons have 2 tight ends in the game. Still no Julio Jones. Third down and 5. Ryan on third down. He throws. The catch is made for a first down. Not a touchdown. It's Gonzalez who lost his helmet at the end of the play. Only his third reception today. He picks up a first, and now the Falcons send in their big package.
You know that Darnell Dockett is going to be upset with his defense right now because he said the one guy we have to make sure we know where he is once we get in the red zone is Tony Gonzalez. We cannot let him beat us down in the red zone. And that's what Tony Gonzalez just did.
Yeah, Greg Toller's slow to get up.
79 is reported as eligible. 79.
You heard Bill Vinovich. 79, Mike Johnson has checked in. Falcons send in the fullback, Mike Cox. First and goal from the 1. Ryan hands it off to Turner, and he is in for the touchdown.
This is what we expect from Atlanta, and it goes back to what Tony was talking about. We need to see this on a more consistent basis. But again, you take the time, Tony. That's what cost them the game against New Orleans last week. First and goal at the 1, they can't punch it in. Their first opportunity today, they punch it in.
Yeah, but everyone's looking at Michael Turner and him getting the ball in, but Mike Cox does a great job of leading up through there and sealing off the inside and just making a nice lane for Michael Turner to go and score.
First touchdown for the Falcons offense today. Bryant the extra point. Atlanta with their first lead of the game. Turner into the end zone. Falcons by 4. Falcons drive 70 yards. Michael Turner with the touchdown. So Matt Ryan, despite throwing 4 interceptions, Atlanta Falcons have turned the ball over 5 times, but the Falcons have taken their first lead of the game with 6:40 remaining. William Powell on the return for Arizona. Out across the 20.
Well, you mentioned the 5 turnovers, Kenny, and really, let's go back and take a look at the division where Arizona's coming out of. They're becoming one of the tougher divisions in football when you talk about defenses. I mean, those 4 teams right there are getting it done with defense. And if there was any complimentary play from the offense, and I know we talked about this at the top, the injuries at quarterback, the injuries at running back, in the offensive line, it's been difficult for Arizona, but the defense is there. This offense can just play a complementary style. It'd be a huge lift for the Cardinals.
St. Louis trailing the Jets. Seahawks have a bye. 49ers play tomorrow night. As Lindley goes deep looking for Andre Roberts, just out of his reach. With Asante Samuel finally back in the game on the coverage, and he's heading right back to the sidelines.
Yeah, he's going to go right back out. And this is the second deep ball we've seen Ryan Lindley just miss. He just missed Larry Fitzgerald earlier in the game, and he just misses Andre Roberts here.
You can see that arm is bothering him right there. He just stuck his left arm out.
Robert McLean back in for Asante Samuel. On 2nd and 10, it's Stevens howling. Again, terrific pressure from Jonathan Babineau.
Corey Bierman, Carol, you talked about him earlier too, man. He's all over this field.
He may be one of the more versatile guys that I've seen this season, Tony. I mean, he plays so many different spots, has so many different roles for this Atlanta defense.
Yeah, he covers, he rushes the passer, he plays the run real well.
The defense still without Samuel. We saw him flexing his right arm. 3rd down and 10. Cardinals must get to the 33. Lindley under pressure. It's John Abraham again. His 2nd sack today, 9th of the season.
Here it is, Jonathan Babineau. We talked about it in the beginning, going against a rookie. See Potter right there. Just a nice job of going and getting off the ball quick. There's nowhere for Ryan Lindley to go.
Yeah, but you know what, Tony, in that situation, you can't help those young guys out all the time, but in a 3rd and 10 situation at this stage of the game, I'd like to see Arizona give a little chip help or a tight end over there with
absolutely.
Nate Potter.
Can't leave him on an island like that. Looks like Arthur Blank there, Darryl. I mean, Kenny.
Yep,
like he's all fired up, huh?
Celebration by the Falcons owner. Franks down to the 36-yard line, tackled by Reggie Walker. Well, the Cardinals defense came up big early, the interception, and then it was Stevens howling into the end zone, giving Arizona a 7-0 lead. Lindley hit by Abraham. Ball was loose and finally picked up by Jonathan Babineau in for the Falcons' first touchdown. And then moments ago, it was Michael Turner giving Atlanta their first lead of the game. Despite 5 turnovers by this Falcons offense, they lead by 4. Last time the Falcons won a game when committing 5 turnovers, they beat the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, in October of '87.
2nd charge timeout.
Timeout is taken by the Cardinals. 5:01 remaining. This December, the UFC returns to Fox. Lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Nate Diaz, highlighting a full night. 4 epic bouts. Coverage of UFC on Fox 5 begins Saturday, December 8th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. And continuing with our turnover theme, Ryan with the 4 picks. Last Falcon quarterback to throw 4 interceptions in one game. You have to go back to '96. Bobby Hebert against the St. Louis Rams. Ryan 4 today, a career high, but the Falcons have the lead. On 1st down, it's Turner.
Now the question, this is an area where Atlanta used to be so good at. It's called 4-minute offense, and you can see the time, 4:44 left right there. You come out as an offense, you start running the football, you watch the clock, you're snapping it at 1, and you're taking it all the way down. You're not going to leave your opponent any time to get back in this game. It'll be interesting to see as we've gone through this transition, as Atlanta becomes a more explosive offense centered around the passing game. Do they still have that ability in the 4-minute situation?
Now 2nd down and 7. Ryan from the shotgun. Ryan had the pass deflected and picked off by Sam Ocho. It's the 5th
Unbelievable
Arizona interception in today's game.
Have you ever seen anything like this, Darryl? I mean,
I don't know if a ball has been tipped that hasn't been intercepted today, Tony. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
Unbelievable.
Sam Ocho's all the way out here. He's the one who's going to get the interception. But it's actually inside with Dan Williams.
Yeah, look like
it
Dan
gets
Williams.
the tip. Off the head,
Off
he doesn't
his
even get
helmet.
the tip. He gets boinked.
And then Ocho with the pick. Our spotter, Ben Boma, has had a busy day tallying the number of Cardinals defensive players that have touched the ball. It is now up to 10.
Need one more to get all 11.
6 Atlanta turnovers. Cardinals take over at the Falcons 32. As Lindley throws, and a diving attempt at the interception is made by Dante Robinson of the Falcons.
Well, we showed you that graphic a couple series ago when Arizona has had the opportunity to start in this type of field position, and they've only generated 13 points. The only touchdown they got was when they started at the 9-yard line. So this is, you've got to punch through. Your defense has done absolutely everything you could have asked them for. You've got to earn your keep as the offense right here and get a touchdown.
Only 40 yards of offense here in the second half for the Cardinals. Inside handoff to Stevens Howling. And he takes it down to the 24-yard line. About 2 yards shy of the marker. So it will be 3rd down and 2 with under 4 minutes remaining. Falcons have the lead despite committing 6 turnovers for the first time since December of '99.
This Atlanta defense also, with all the quick changes and putting out there with their backs against the wall and having to go and get a 3 and out. It's done an unbelievable job today. Let's see what they do here on this 3rd and 2.
Lindley with the toss to Stevens Howling. And he will not pick up any yardage. So with the Cardinals trailing by 4, they will leave the offense on the field on 4th down.
Well, I like the play call because of the running style of Stevens Howling, but look at the pursuit by the Atlanta Falcons inside out. They've got 4 guys there going from the middle of the field to the sideline.
So it is now 4th down and 2. Timeout.
First charge timeout.
Is taken by the Falcons.
Atlanta had difficulty matching the personnel in that group with a late substitution.
Well, if they're thinking about throwing the ball, one guy that they better go and find where he is John Abraham. You know, you talked about it earlier, Darryl. They cannot leave one of these rookie tackles one-on-one with John Abraham. They got to go and bring somebody in to help them out a little bit with a chip, you know, some kind of help, outside or inside. So Jonathan Babineau can't just go and get in there and do what he does best, and that's sack the quarterback.
And the way he's been getting around Nate Potter is coming out of his back pedal and he's turning his shoulders perpendicular to the line of scrimmage right away. To give him an extra guy there so he can come back more square would be a huge help.
That's called opening the gate when a tackle goes and opens that shoulder like that. It's a soft shoulder.
All right, here we go. 4th down and 2 for Arizona. Lindley on 4th down. He throws, and it's Fitzgerald. And it is ruled no catch. He did not maintain possession of the football.
Larry Fitzgerald is on the outside working against Dante Robinson. A little slant and go.
The receiver lost the ball going to the ground. Therefore, the ruling on the field is incomplete pass.
We must maintain possession. Fitzgerald did not. So the Falcons will take over on downs.
79 reported eligible.
So the Cardinals guys have now gone 6 consecutive drives without picking up a 1st down.
And on every one of those drives that started in Atlanta territory, they never made a 1st down after getting the ball.
Incredible. Only 1 catch for Fitzgerald today. So the Falcons get the ball back. They have a 4-point lead despite having committed 6 turnovers. Just over 3 minutes remaining here in Atlanta. Michael Turner. Not much. Cardinals have 1 timeout remaining, as you see, upper left hand of your screen in our Fox box.
I'll be shocked if Atlanta throws a pass in this series. Just keep the ball on the ground.
Are you getting nervous up there, Carol?
I mean, would you even consider doing it? I was surprised the last time they did it.
All the tip balls that we've seen in crazy plays today. You're right. I'd keep that ball on the ground and run this clock down as far as you could. And punt it away and play defense.
Exactly. See if Ryan Lindley can beat you.
Toss to Turner.
They got him out of bounds. I can't believe Michael Turner allowed them to get him out of bounds. Did they get him out of bounds?
No, I don't think they did.
Okay, that's other guys that got carried out.
Woo. Clock continues to run.
So he's too smart a football player to allow that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the clock stops at 2:03 as the officials get together.
Third and final timeout, Arizona. 30-second timeout. Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes and 7 seconds. 2:07.
So they will add 4 seconds back on. Cardinals call timeout at 2:07.
And we talked about not throwing the ball in this situation. There's a bobble by Roddy White that's picked off by Rashad Johnson. There was Darnell Dockett inside getting that tip. There's a bad decision by Matt Ryan on that one. And there's another bad decision. The one to Darrell Washington was tough, but I mean, tip balls, and every ball that went in the air went to Arizona. Yeah.
5 interceptions, 3rd career 300-yard game. That's a first for Matt Ryan. Career high 5 picks, 3 in the first quarter. But he's been bailed out by his defense. He scored a touchdown, and they have not allowed an Arizona first down on the Cardinals' last 6 possessions. So for the Falcons, another 3rd and short. We've talked about their lack of success in these situations this season. A first down here, and I'm stating the obvious, would be huge because the Cardinals are out of timeouts. And Jacquizz Rodgers picks up a first down as we hit the 2-minute warning. So that should seal it for the Atlanta Falcons, who lead the Cardinals by 4. There's Jonathan Babineau scored the Falcons' first touchdown today. Michael Turner for a 1-yard touchdown run with 6:40 remaining as Ryan takes a knee. Cardinals are out of timeouts.
Well, one of the things that we always talked about as players was there's no style points in the NFL. And this is a sloppy win for the Atlanta Falcons, but it's a win. And they've got some work to do. They got to get some things corrected. You heard Tony talk about credibility. And to get that credibility, look at who they've got coming up. I mean, those are some very, very tough games. And if you play like you played this afternoon against any one of those opponents, it's going to be a different outcome than you had this afternoon.
3 divisional games coming up. Tampa Bay Sunday on the road, and then return engagement with the Saints a week from Thursday. So the Falcons with a victory today will go to 9-1. The other 8-1 team, the Texans, have come back. They are in overtime at home against Jacksonville. Here's Ryan Lindley, who entered this game with the Cardinals up 13-0. Came on in relief of John Skelton. Great job by our entire crew, led by producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, associate directors Eric Mandian, Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marlborough, our technical producer Sid Drexler, technical director Chris Castro. Pregame show produced by Bill Richards, directed by Bob Levy. For Daryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, Kenny Albert saying so long down to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in Detroit.